All right, so welcome then to the Zoom room for another Faster Learning Go Live session. So let's just have a look at, we'll dive into today's text, I think. First up, it's a 7-paragraph section. We're on section 7 of chapter 30. This one is called the New Interpretation. So I'm going to share my screen with you. Yeah, can you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the new interpretation, I'll read the original, you read the alternative, and then we'll summarize it. You know the drill. So, would God have left the meaning of the world to your interpretation?
Would pure formless awareness of perfect love have left the meaning of the world to my interpretation?
If he had, it has no meaning.
If it had, it has no meaning.
For it cannot be that meaning changes constantly and yet is true.
For it cannot be that meaning changes constantly and still is true.
Let's change that to is still true. The Holy Spirit looks upon the world as with one purpose, changelessly established.
The remembrance of perfect love perceives the world with one changelessly established purpose.
And no situation can affect its aim, but must be in accord with it.
And no situation can affect its aim, but instead must be in alignment with it.
So its purpose instead of its aim. Well, only if its aim could change with every situation could each one be open to interpretation, which is different every time you think of it.
Only if its purpose could change with every situation, could each one be open to an interpretation which is different every time I think of it.
Yeah, you add an element to the script you write for every minute in the day, and all that happens now means something else.
I take away another element and every meeting shifts.
No? 7.
Oh, yeah. I add an element into the script I write for every minute in the day, and all that happens now means something else.
You take away another element and every meaning shifts accordingly.
I take away another element and every meaning shifts accordingly. On the top, would pure formless awareness of perfect love have left the meaning of the world to my interpretation? If it had, it has no meaning, for it cannot be that meaning changes constantly and is still true. The remembrance of perfect love perceives the world with one changeless established purpose, and no situation can affect its purpose, but instead must be in alignment with it. For only if its purpose could change with every situation, could each one be open to interpretation, which is different every time I think of it. I add an element into the script I write for every minute in the day, and all that happens now means something else. I take away another element, and every meaning shifts accordingly.
So if I Yeah, so what's he saying?
Well, it's just saying, do we really think pure formless awareness, or just leave it down to interpretation?
Yeah, I mean, it's highlighting instability really of perception and purpose. And the ego's purpose shifts daily, hourly. One moment you can say, "Oh, I really love this. I'm so excited." The next you can be in despair. The next you can be angry and aggressive. There's no consistent
Stability.
interpretation of reality in the ego. It's very
Unpredictable.
irascible. It's very unpredictable and erratic. You
Hmm.
know, volatile, erratic, unpredictable,
Changes like the weather.
capricious. These are all words to describe the nature of the ego, continuously shifting and changing its whole purpose.
Hmm.
In one moment, I had a situation yesterday, and someone was
Hmm.
like, "No, no, I just want healing. I want peace." So, and then I'm like, "Okay, well, I could actually maybe help with some money. It's just a legacy contact that I knew years ago." And then suddenly the purpose changes. Oh, now there's money involved. Oh, no, no, I don't want any of the teachings. I don't want healing. I just want the
Hmm.
money. I'm going,
Hmm.
okay, but the money was only offered to help you with your healing.
Hmm.
Because this wanted private mentoring. I said I'm not the right person to do it. But here's Keith Kavanagh's website. Go check him out and book a session if you feel so inspired, and maybe I can help you with that. But I was like, oh, but then what happened to the purpose of healing? Now money comes along. It's a different, you see, it's erratic. No, there's no
Hmm.
there's no consistent purpose. This is how the ego works.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so one has to just see it for what it is. Notice it, see it for what it is, and let it go for what it is. It's an illusion. It's false. How can such an erratic thought system, where the purpose is changing continuously, only if its purpose could change with every situation, could each one be open to an interpretation which is different every time I think of it. So this is because the purpose is changing all the time, and the ego assigns different purposes to different situations. Then our behavior becomes very erratic. There's no consistency. And that's what characterizes the ego. Very erratic, very volatile, capricious. You just don't know what it's going to do at any point.
Hmm.
So
Change
how
it.
can you rely on this?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very unreliable. And, in my shares, I'm actually quite glad that what has happened because now I'm free of that. I'm not dealing with an erratic, capricious, ego anymore in my partnership. So,
Hmm.
all good. But yeah, see it for what it is. See it
Hmm.
for what it is. Be willing to let that go and restore your mind to the only purpose that it really has, which is love.
Hmm.
And that's all
Yeah.
this course is asking. Replace every other erratic, capricious whim and interpretation and purpose and meaning that the ego has given to the multitude of situations that happen in this life, and replace all of that with one singular purpose, which is love, and your only purpose is to awaken to that love through every situation. And you do that by letting go of your ego and opening your mind to the remembrance of perfect love of the Holy Spirit. Okay, so happy to go on.
Yeah. Hmm.
So this one doesn't really have anything to translate, so you can read this in the alternative only.
Yeah. What do my scripts reflect except my plans for what my day should be? And so I judge disaster and success, advance and retreat, gain and loss. These judgments are made according to the roles that script this to the roles the script assigns. The fact that they have no meaning in themselves is demonstrated by the ease with which these labels change with other judgments made on different aspects of experience. And then, in looking back, I think I perceive another meaning in what went before. What have I really done except to show there was no meaning there, but I assigned a meaning to in the awareness of goals that change, with every meaning shifting as they change.
Okay. Summary of that. What's
It's just saying that being in the separate self, it's how can you rely on it, because it shifts and changes from success, disaster, gain, loss. You know, and the meaning can change as well, and just very unpredictable and not reliable at all.
I think the key point here is that you make these judgments according to the roles the script assigns. So we're scripted characters, like a movie, and we all have these roles. The problem is we identify with the role. We think the role is us. We forget we're just an actor in the drama. And so now the script seems to dictate the kinds of judgments that we make. But look at how often these judgments change. You know, look at how labels change. One moment someone's nice, the next, oh no, I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure they're nice, and maybe they're actually my enemy. And all the shades of gray in between. And this is changing and shifting in our perception continuously. At one moment, someone might be really, they're amazing, they're so good, and then the next you go, actually, maybe not so good because they've done something I didn't like. And then, you know, my judgment seems to be justified based on the roles the script assigns. They didn't fulfill the role that my script seemed to assign. Oh, that person should do this, that person should behave this way. And then they don't. They violate that, and then you have a problem.
Or vice versa, somebody thinks you're amazing, and then all of a sudden they think you're rubbish.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly. You know, and suddenly, oh, hang on, I was really fine before. We were good, and then what? I make one comment, or I say something wrong, and now
you're down at the
now
bottom.
I'm cold, now I'm in the dog box. I mean, okay, how does that work? It's very unstable.
Very.
This is the you know, the nature of the ego's judgmental reality that he's highlighting and saying, is this really reality? Is this stable? Is this what you choose? Is this what you want? What have I really done to show there was no meaning? That's the question. What have I really done except to show there was no meaning? Actually, if there's no permanent, here's the takeaway from this. There's no permanent meaning, and all the meanings are temporary, then that is not meaning. That is illusion. It's not any true meaning, because true meaning and true purpose can't change. What makes them true is the fact that they can't change. If anything's changeable, then by definition, it's not true. It doesn't really exist. Okay. So the meanings shift as my goals change. All right, happy to go to number 3, Elaine?
Yeah.
Okay. Same thing, just read it in the alternative, kindly.
Only a constant purpose can give events stable meaning, but it must give one meaning to them all. If they are given different meanings, they must reflect only different purposes, and this is all the meaning that they have. And can this be meaning? Can confusion be what meaning means? Perception cannot be in constant flux and provide any stability of meaning. Fear is a judgment that is never justified. Its presence has no meaning except to show me that I wrote a fearful script and am afraid accordingly, but not because the thing I fear was fearful, meaning in itself.
Okay.
So it's just saying that only a constant purpose can give stability and meaning, not all this changing stuff.
Mm.
And that it must give one meaning to them all. So if they're given different meanings, then they'll reflect only different purposes. So just we're questioning this. So can confusion be what meaning means?
So meaning is equated to purpose.
Yeah, so it's saying the perception, if it's in constant flux, then it's not going to be providing any stability or any meaning. And they're talking about fear here as well. They're saying that it's just not justified, it's not real. But we have written this script of this fearful state.
So perception, by definition, cannot be true because it's so changeable. The truth doesn't change, but perception is shifting and changing all the time. And we give each situation a different meaning, a different purpose, we value it differently. Now, how can that be reality? Reality is constant. And perception is in constant flux, as he says. How can that constant flux provide any stability of meaning? And so we seek and we seek within the domain of perception for meaning, and we fail time and again. Because you'll never find permanent meaning and higher purpose in what is shifting and changing. How does the world go? Just when you think okay, it's kind of settled, it's stable, what happens? It changes.
It does.
Inevitably, it's going to change. And in today's world, that change is quite rapid. So things don't really settle for very long. It's changing like that. Back in the Middle Ages, you might go, okay, well, there wasn't much technological innovation. Someone was born, they died pretty much in the same world. Nothing much had changed. And but even then there would have been flux and change in relationships. But now in an era where there's so much technological innovation, things are just changing day by day, moment by moment. You can't rely on any of it. And Yeshua's saying, well, don't look there for your security and your reality, because you'll never find it there. This is the domain of fear. You value these things, and then you go, oh, I value them, but they may go away any moment. So then obviously I'm going to live in fear, because what I value could just disappear and not be there anymore. So you're always living in this fearful state of, I really can't rely on this reality. And then what we typically try and do is try and control it. We try and control it. Well, if I try and control it, and I just keep to a certain track, and I do things in a certain way, then I can control this changeable reality, and that makes me feel more secure. And many people try that.
But it's still,
it doesn't work. Doesn't work, does it?
Still underneath, you've still got something else. Or
well, it's because no matter how much you try and control it, things are always going to change, and things are beyond your control. So don't get attached to form in any way. Don't try and control it. It just is what it is.
Well, also the good example, especially with Dave, is his car. My goodness, that was a prime example. really attached to
Yeah.
that form, you know, albeit
Yeah.
it was inanimate, but it was,
Mm.
and still is. He's
Mm.
still convincing himself that you'll pay the extra money to have it fixed, and yet it's still ongoing. You
Yeah.
could, yeah. So let him get on with it, but
So an attempt to find meaning and purpose in something that is inherently unstable and changeable is always going to
yeah,
fail.
yeah,
Because it's illusion, it doesn't have the changeless quality of truth. So it can never be what you want it to be. That's
yeah,
called a false idol when you do
yeah.
that. It's never gonna give you what you really yearn for, which is is the truth and
Yeah,
a stable purpose in that. No form, nothing in this world can give you that. So then what he's suggesting, yeah, is that we find a common purpose. He's saying a common purpose is the only means whereby perception can be stabilized. And one interpretation of the world and all experiences here are made. One judgment is shared by everyone and everything I perceive in the shared purpose. So I perceive people in this one judgment. And that one judgment is you are completely innocent, you're holy, and none of there's no sin, guilt, or fear. None of that really exists. I do not have to judge, for I've learned one meaning has been given to everything, and I'm glad to perceive it everywhere. Okay? One universal meaning, one interpretation of everything, and this cannot change because I want to perceive it everywhere, unchanged by any circumstances. And so I perceive all events with the truth in mind and let them offer me stability. So what's he saying there? I've summarized some of it already, but in your own words.
well, there's just no stability in the the separate self. There's just no stability, and the truth is where the stability lies.
Yeah. And if I perceive the truth that underlies all events, then I have a stable base because it's the same foundation, the same truth, the same awareness that underlies all events. So whether they seem any good or bad, things apparently are favorable, they're going my way, or they're not, the truth is the same. The truth is that my awareness is unaffected by any of these things. And so they offer me stability, even if the illusions are obviously shifting and changing. The way I choose to perceive them through forgiving eyes, the eyes of Christ, offers me a stability within the dream that that is a little reflection of heaven. And so I can be peaceful and loving and joyful and happy, even as all these changeable circumstances and events seem to happen. And so I perceive all events with the truth in mind and let them offer me stability. But it's one purpose. The only way you're going to achieve that stability is that you perceive everything the same, consistently with one singular purpose, which is to let go of all illusions and perceive only the truth that underlies them. That becomes your one purpose. That unites your perception of all events under one singular banner, one purpose, which then becomes your true purpose. Okay. Common purpose. So number 5.
My escape from judgment simply lies in this: all events have only one purpose, which I share with everyone, and nothing in the world can be opposed to this purpose, for it belongs to everyone, as it belongs to me. The end of all ideas of sacrifice is a single purpose, which must change for the one who gains and their companion who loses. There can be no thought of sacrifice apart from this idea, and it is this idea of different goals that makes perception shift and meaning change. This becomes impossible in one united goal. For my acceptance of this goal makes interpretation stabilize and last. Let's just say our escape from judgment lies in all events that have only one purpose, which is we share with everyone.
And that purpose is
to accept our goal to the truth.
Yeah, it's to let go of illusions and accept the truth in every situation. So forgiveness or letting go is required to let go of our misperceptions, our false idols, our illusions, and access in that moment a deeper truth. So find a state of love, peace, and joy, no matter what seems to have happened, seems to be happening. And then you come to know the truth by letting go of the illusion. And that's the purpose of the dream. That's its only purpose. To restore you back to your true reality and your true identity. So if I accept just this one goal, then suddenly my perception becomes stabilized. Suddenly there's one framework for perception. Do you see that? All perception has this one singular purpose, which then gives it a meaning and a true purpose. It's taking me, perception is now helping me to awaken rather than helping me to stay fast asleep. All right. Happy with that one?
Yeah.
So number 6, just reading the alternative. Actually, it's a bit to translate, so I'll read the original. You read the alternative. How can communication really be established while the symbols that are used mean different things?
How can communication really be established while the symbols that I use mean different things?
The Holy Spirit's goal gives one interpretation meaningful to you and to your brother.
The Remembrance of Perfect Love's goal gives one interpretation meaningful to me and my companions.
Thus can you communicate with him and he with you.
In this way, I can communicate with my companions and my companions with me.
Yeah. In symbols that you both can understand, the sacrifice of meaning is undone.
The loss of meaning is prevented through symbols that we can both understand.
Okay. All sacrifice entails the loss of your ability to see relationships among events.
All sacrifice entails the loss of my ability to perceive the interconnected nature of events.
And looked at separately, they have no meaning.
Doesn't know what to do.
Sorry, it's just got
Yeah.
a distraction there with the. What number are we on there? In this
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
Where are we?
Sorry, it's my turn.
Yeah,
And looked at separately, they have no meaning. This is number 6.
right. And they have no meaning when I perceive them separately.
So there's no light by which they can be seen and understood.
For there is no true awareness by which they can be perceived and understood.
They have no purpose.
They have no purpose.
And what they are for cannot be seen.
And I cannot perceive what they are for.
In any thought of loss, there is no meaning.
There is no meaning in any thought of loss.
No one has agreed with you on what it means.
And I cannot perceive what they are for.
Yeah, number 11. No one has agreed with
Oh, yeah, sorry, I'm getting
what it means.
all of a sudden I'm getting bombarded there with the pets. No one has agreed with me on what it means.
It is a part of a distorted script which cannot be interpreted with meaning.
There is no meaning in any thought of loss.
Okay. 12. You're in 12.
Sorry, it's just all of a sudden I'm getting bombarded with the pets. I think they want their food or something. It's part of a distorted script that cannot be interpreted with meaning.
It must be forever unintelligible.
It must be unintelligible forever.
This is not communication.
This is not communication.
Your dark dreams are but the senseless, isolated scripts you write in sleep.
My limited dreams are only the senseless, isolated scripts I write while asleep.
Look not to separate dreams for meaning.
I will look for meaning in separate dreams.
And only dreams in which I let go can be shared.
Only dreams in which I let go can be shared.
Only dreams of parting can be shared. They mean the same to both of you.
This is because they mean the same to everyone. From the top, How can communication really be established while the symbols that I use mean different things? The Remembrance of Perfect Love goal gives me interpretation meaningful to me and my companions. In this way, I can communicate with my companions, and my companions can communicate with me. The loss of meaning is prevented through symbols that we can both understand. All sacrifice entails the loss of my ability to perceive the interconnected nature of events, and they have no meaning while I perceive them separately, for there is no true awareness by which they can be perceived and understood. They have no purpose, and I cannot perceive what they are for. There is no meaning in any thought of loss. No one has agreed with me on what it means. It is part of a distorted script that cannot be interpreted with meaning. It must be unintelligible forever. This is not communication, but my limited dreams are only the senseless, isolated scripts I write while asleep. I will not look for meaning in separate dreams. Only dreams which I let go can be shared. This is because they mean the same to everyone.
Okay.
Well, it's just about the communication that we use for different things when Remembrance of Perfect Love has the same interpretation for all and our world companions.
Sorted script.
Yeah, when we're coming
So
from
we don't see true meaning. We see fragmented reality. We see a limited dream. We're not really communicating with our companions, because think about what the lack of communication means. It means I don't see the world in the same way as you see it. We perceive it differently, and now we apparently have a conflict. Because my interpretation of reality doesn't coincide with yours. We disagree, and we are now apparently separate minds because of our disagreement over our interpretation of reality. Isn't that how it works in this world?
Yeah.
So my limited dreams are only the senseless, isolated scripts I write while asleep. And I cannot look for meaning in these separate dreams where it's just me and my little worldview and my perception, and that's different from everyone else's perception. And I think that fragmented reality is real. But only dreams in which I let go can really be shared. This is because they mean the same to everyone. So when everyone lets go of their version of events and says, okay, this is all just false, the perception isn't true, then we come into the same understanding. In that understanding, we can unite. It's the only understanding that's going to unite us. If we believe in the perceptual world, inevitably my perception is not going to coincide with your perception, and we're going to have a disagreement, and then we're going to think that we're separate because of our disagreement. That's how it works, isn't it?
Yeah.
So saying, well, just let that go, and if you give one meaning to all perception, and both of you agree on that meaning, then you'll realize that you're not really separate. They are not separate minds, it's one mind. It's one mind realizing its oneness and coming back into that oneness, into that perfect nature. Okay. So happy with number 6. Last one. I think you could probably just read this in the alternative.
I will not interpret out of solitude. For what I perceive alone, it means nothing. It will shift in what it stands for and will believe the world is an uncertain place in which I walk in danger and in uncertainty. It is only my interpretations which are unstable, for they are not in alignment with what I really am. This is a state so seemingly unsafe that fear must arise. I will not continue in this way. I have one interpreter, and everyone is joined through its use of symbols, so that they mean the same to all of us. Our common language lets us speak to all our companions and understand with them that we can all choose to let go and so be able to communicate again. It's just saying for us to all speak the same language and from the same source, rather than our perceiving from our separate selves. That's unsafe, and fears arisen, arises, unstable. So we want to join in use these symbols, and so they all mean the same, and stay with the same language, and let go, so that we can communicate again. Let go of the perceptions from the separate self.
He's saying there's only one interpreter, capital I, that's the Holy Spirit. So the Holy Spirit's job is to interpret this reality for you and give you the correct interpretation, the correct perception of it, so that oneness is promoted. Oneness isn't denied, as is the ego's purpose, but that oneness is fostered, is promoted. In your mind, you come to believe in this idea of oneness more and more through your perceptions. Common language lets us speak to all our companions and understand with them that we can all choose to let go and so be able to communicate again. Very nice message. That we can all do this. We can all let go. And, if everyone's letting go, then what would keep us separate? That's an interesting question, isn't it? What would keep us separate? If everyone fully let go of all of their ego identifications and desires and fears and past traumas and future desires and so on, then what would be left? There would be no people, would there? What defines people is individuality. They have an individual self, they have a certain personality, character traits, they have life history, a life story, they have their special relationships, their special problems, their loves, their hates, their ambitions, their fears, their desires, and that defines the person, doesn't it? I'm saying, well, if you let all that go, what would be left? Well, what would be left is just perfect communication. As pure awareness, there would only be pure awareness left, and the ridiculous idea that you can actually be separate would simply disappear. Okay, so personalized summary. Just to summarize the whole thing in a few paragraphs. Let's read that. Just pause after each paragraph, give a quick 1-minute summary of it, and we'll move on.
Yeah. Are we just taking turns with the paragraphs on this one, aren't we?
Well, can do.
Shall I start? Yeah. Pure formless awareness of perfect love wouldn't leave the world's meaning to my interpretation, for then it would lack consistent meaning. Remembrance of perfect love perceives the world with a purpose that doesn't change with shifting situations. Every change I introduce alters my perception, showing that any meaning I assign is temporary and dependent on my changing goals. So it's just saying that you need to leave. Pure formless awareness, perfect love wouldn't leave the world's meaning to my interpretation. Yeah, that's otherwise it's just not a consistent meaning. Because obviously the world, the separate self just keeps shifting and it's just temporary and changing goals. So it's just nothing to be, no stability, you can't rely on it.
Which is why we, if we're trying to find meaning and purpose in our lives in the shifting, changing forms, we're doomed to failure because they're always going to change. So the moment you go, okay, there's my meaning and there's my purpose, I've got it now, it changes.
It does.
Oh, what happened to that? Now it's no longer there, or the form of it has changed. And so we go through these roles in life. Think of, let's say, a mother. A mother might go, oh, no, finally I found my purpose. It's to have children, and I'm going to be a great mother. And for a while she might go, oh, no, I'm really, and then the kids start growing up. They become teenagers. They're not really that interested anymore. They, want to do their own thing. Eventually they leave home. And then she's like, well, I thought that was a permanent meaning, but it's not. Now I'm feeling bereft because all my kids have left, and now what? Now who am I?
Empty nest. Do you have that empty nest feeling?
Yeah. And this happens frequently in life. We have these roles, they last for a while, sometimes a decade or two, and then they change. And then you're like, well, that was never a permanent role. It was never a permanent meaning, was it?
Mm.
You couldn't rely on that because it was always going to change. So any meaning I assign is temporary and dependent on my changing goals. My interpretations and judgments are so many scripts I create, influencing how I view success, disaster, advance, retreat, gain, and loss. These scripts and their roles often change, showing that they have no inherent meaning. A steadfast purpose gives events a consistent meaning, but assigning differing meanings indicates I have multiple shifting purposes. Right? So purpose and the meaning are equated. If I keep giving another purpose, giving another meaning to events, I'm really assigning a different purpose to it. Fearful interpretations are only indicative of my own fearful mindset and are not the inherent nature of what I fear. Okay, so thoughts on that?
And just the interpretations and judgments are just a script that we've created, and we can't rely on it because it just changes. And so there's fearful interpretations that come along with this. And we just, it's the nature of what fear is, because it can't be relied on. So we need to change our thoughts to find this true stability in us.
Yeah. So he's asking us to let go of the shifting world of interpretations and perceptions, and associated with scripts and roles and false identities, and give everything one meaning, one purpose, a shared unchanging purpose. I'm going to carry on.
A shared unchanging purpose stabilizes perception and allows for a singular interpretation of the world and my experiences in the world. By accepting this shared purpose, I no longer judge hastily and instead perceive the single meaning everywhere, unaffected by changing circumstances. So no matter what's happening in the world, if we're in our stable, pure formless or remembrance of perfect love, then we're unaffected by the changes in circumstances.
No longer judge hastily, instead perceive a single meaning everywhere, unaffected by changing circumstances. So this is our task. Okay, one purpose, one singular meaning, one purpose, therefore one interpretation of the world, no matter what seems to happen. Now I have consistency. I have a consistent framework for interpreting reality that can bring me some kind of unity and stability in an unstable world. And the only thing that's going to work is letting go of the false purpose, the false meaning that you've given everything in this world. That's the singular purpose that unifies your mind into the one whole purpose of truth. And when I perceive everyone and everything with one purpose shared with the world, I move beyond judgment. This unified perception ends thoughts of sacrifice, which are based on the idea of differing goals. Differing symbols and interpretations disrupt true communication. Remembrance of perfect love provides symbols that resonate with both me and my companions, facilitating genuine connection. Perceiving events as isolated fragments my perception and makes them meaningless. My limited dreams conceived in isolation lack shared meaning, while dreams of letting go can be universally understood. Okay. Summarize that in your own words.
Well, just seeing the world in isolated, fragmented ways is meaningless, and our limited dreams are in isolation and is lacking in sharing of meaning. So dreams of letting go can be universally understood, that we are just all one, sharing the same goal, instead of all these different goals.
Mm.
And just misinterpretation of communication, and just being in the remembrance of perfect love brings connection and love and communication from the same source.
Yeah. One purpose, one meaning, unifies us. And if we see that in the world, if you perceive things the same way, that's the unifying factor. You have agreement. People who have similar perceptions tend to gravitate together. You go, oh, okay, you perceive the world the way I do. Okay, there's some unity. So the only perception that's going to unify everyone and cut through all the ego's false separation devices is the idea of letting go. That you must just let go of every meaning, every purpose, every misperception that you've ever had of this world. Drop it all, and then you come into true meaning. Okay. And there's the last paragraph of the summary, and then there's a key message. So just read the last two.
Yeah. Interpreting events alone makes the world seem unpredictable and dangerous. My shaky interpretations aren't aligned with my true self, and therefore introduce fear. However, with the remembrance of perfect love as our interpreter, we can understand shared symbols, communicate effectively, and recognize that letting go unifies us all. And the key message: I shouldn't rely on my fleeting interpretations of the world. A consistent shared purpose brings clarity and stability to my perceptions. Through the remembrance of perfect love, I can communicate meaningfully with others and recognize that letting go unites us all in our true understanding and identity.
Okay.
Yeah. This says it all.
Summarize that in your words. And then what's the key message?
Just don't rely on our fleeting interpretations of the world, because they'll consistently change and just leave us unstable, fearful, and not connected with our companions. So if we go through the remembrance of perfect love, then communication will be meaningful, because we're all coming from the same source. So it's learning to let go of this other storyteller.
Letting go unites us all. It's the one perception that is guaranteed to unite us. There's no other perception that will do that. But if you let go of all your illusions, your belief in anything in this world, then where do people who do that end up? In the same awareness, which is true awareness, which is home, which is heaven, which is God, which is love. And the route to get there is the same. Everyone just needs to let go of their false idols and their illusions, and allow this awareness to arise again in their mind. Okay. So I think pretty clear message, nothing unusual, but he's just reiterating it. Each one has a slightly different focus. And we kind of go, okay, so, I learned I learned something more about this thought system of unity versus the one of separation from the section. This is about the new interpretation of reality that then helps us. That interpretation is going to help us to awaken to who we really are. Okay, so we have about 20 minutes. We can do the lesson if you want. Any other thoughts, comments, or questions on this one, Lynn? You okay with it?
Yeah, no, it's very clear. Yeah.
Hmm.
We need to side with
Okay.
our true self rather than, yeah, siding with the other.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so let every voice but God's be still in me. So this one is lesson 254. We'll go straight into the lesson. Just 2 short paragraphs, and then we can do a meditation to the session. Okay, so if you want to read that in the original and its alternative version.
Yeah. Let every voice but God's be still in me. I hear only perfect love's voice today.
Yeah, so slight difference in the alternative. I hear, let every voice but God's be still in me. I hear only. So what I try and do is, instead of in the negative, let every voice but God's. Instead of that, you say, I hear only perfect love's voice today. Right? It's a much more positive, affirmative statement. And I'm not letting anything. I just choose. I hear only perfect love's voice today. So it's said as an affirmation of faith. All right, so let's go on to the prayer. I'll read the original, you read the alternative. Father, today I would but hear your voice.
At my source today, I want to hear only your voice.
In deepest silence, I would come to you, to hear your voice and to receive your word.
In deepest silence, I come to you to hear your voice and receive your message.
I have no prayer but this. I come to you to ask you for the truth.
I have no prayer but this. I come to you to ask for you for the truth.
And truth is but your will, which I would share with you today.
And truth is only in your awareness, which I choose to share with you today. Oh, from the top. My source today, I want to hear only your voice. In deepest silence, I come to you to hear your voice and receive your message. I have no prayer but this. I come to you to ask you for the truth. And truth is only in your awareness, which I choose to share with you today.
Yeah, so very much in alignment with what he's saying in the text.
Mm-hmm.
There's only one voice. The voice is the interpreter, the Holy Spirit, that interprets reality and says, okay, this is how you can perceive it. One voice that's interpreting this reality and helping you to change your mind, helping you to find some peace, some happiness, some unity in what is otherwise a fairly disastrous dream. If we're honest about it, it's really not a nice reality we've created.
Mm. Shall I read in the alternative?
So
Similar.
today, I'll read it. Today we let no ego thoughts direct our words or actions.
Today I let no thoughts of separation direct my words or actions.
When such thoughts occur, we quietly step back and look at them. and then we let them go.
When such thoughts occur, I quietly detach from them, perceive them equanimously, oh, I can't say that word.
Yeah, that's the word.
Yeah,
Equanimously.
I've got a blank on that one. Equanimously. Equanimously.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. It's
bingo.
not like equal, but then you put an N. Equanimously.
Equanimously. Yeah. I do seem to have it right. Anyway, I've got it. Equanimously. And then let them go.
Well, I added that in. It wasn't in the original. Step back and look at them. What's he saying there? I'm just going to look at these things with equanimity. I'm not going to judge them and get all excited or get all upset. I'm just going to, in quite a detached way, just look and be able to observe, my thoughts and my emotions. So although that might be going on, there's this equanimous presence or awareness that's able to just observe that. Okay, well, so some thoughts are kicking off, and a part of me is my mind's going crazy, and part of me is upset, and I can feel some sensations in my body, but I don't have to react to any of it. That's really what the Vipassana meditation is training you to do. To not react, to do exactly this, perceive them equanimously and then let them go. And so we do not want what they would bring with them.
Right. And I do not want what they bring with them.
And so we do not choose to keep them.
And so I do not choose to keep them.
They are silent now.
They are silent now.
And in the stillness, hallowed by his love, God speaks to us and tells us of our will as we have chosen to remember him.
And in the stillness, hallowed by its love, pure formless awareness of perfect love, speaks to me and tells me what my awareness is, because I have chosen to remember its awareness. Today, I let no thoughts of separation direct my words or actions. When such thoughts occur, I quietly detach from them, perceive them equanimously, and then let them go. I do not want what they would bring with them, and so I do not choose to keep them. They are silent now, and in the stillness, hallowed by its love, pure formless awareness of perfect love speaks to me and tells me what my awareness is, because I have chosen to remember its awareness.
Okay, summary of that. What's he saying?
It's just we're not going to allow the words from our separate self direct our actions, just by letting go and detach and perceive them equanimously. Oops, did it again, didn't I? Equanimously.
Equanimously. So
Equanimously.
yeah.
That's my mantra. Equanimously.
It's equanimously.
Equanimously. Yeah.
Equanimously.
I can say it when you say it, yeah.
It is a bit of a tongue twister, yeah.
Equanimously.
Yeah.
Equanimously, so you have to say it slowly. So
Yeah.
you need to be very equanimous, and just as soon as they arise, let them go. Because funny enough, things just flashed on the computer there, and it's the email from this company from India,
Right.
and it's not cheap, not cheap at all. And it's going to take them 4 weeks, and I just thought, no, I can do it myself. And I was a little bit triggered because I thought, wow, that's not cheap. And then I thought, no, let that go. Let it go. That's what you've got to do, haven't you? When you get these little, well, it's just a pop-up notification came up there. Let it go. Yeah. So be equanimous. That's my favorite word now.
Yeah.
My mantra for today.
Yeah. which is the state that forgiveness puts us in. If you really forgive properly, then you should be equanimous. If you're not equanimous, then you haven't forgiven properly because you've still got ego thoughts and emotions going on. I'm saying don't choose to keep them, whatever these ego thoughts and emotions are. Let no thoughts of separation direct my words or actions. Easier said than done, but you start to be able to identify. You go, okay, I can see, the ego's doing its thing. It's trying to get me to separate, and it's got a whole thought system. And when that's starting to happen, this mind training alerts you and says, "Oh, hang on, you're going down the rabbit hole again,
And
you're
again
losing the
and
fight
again.
again." But at least I'm aware. Now you start to become aware through this mind training that that's what you're doing.
Oh, yes, yes.
Okay,
No,
I'm doing it again. I'm believing in separation as some kind of solution for this problem. That's what the ego has told us. Okay, so although idea of separation is the problem, it's saying, no, you can solve your problems caused by separation with more separation. Evidently, that's not going to work when you really understand the dynamic of what's going on. Like, how's that going to work? You're trying to solve the problem with the problem. Okay. And as Einstein said, the significant problems we face cannot be solved at the same level of thinking we were at when we created them. We can't solve it with that problematic thinking that created the problem. That's not possible. We're just going to go round and around, perpetuating the problems and never coming up with a genuine solution. We have to shift into another mindset to do that. Yeah. So that's what this is saying. And by practicing letting go of forgiveness, you shift into that other mindset, which is equanimity. You're equanimous in the face of whatever happens. It doesn't bother you anymore. And in the stillness, right? This equanimous stillness, my mind is calm and quiet, hallowed by its love, pure formless awareness of perfect love, speaks to me and tells me what my awareness is, because I've chosen to remember its awareness. So I come to start to know this awareness of perfect love experientially in the stillness and the silence that equanimity brings. And I start choosing that. The more I choose to be equanimous, the more I'm choosing this other reality, this higher awareness. And I'm choosing to let go then of the entire dream. That makes sense. Yeah. I mean, it's not rocket science. It's really, really simple.
Oh, yes,
but
but
to do
putting
it,
into practice,
when the trigger comes and you find yourself getting triggered and the thoughts and the emotions start going, that's when you need your practice to say no.
And it's
Just
do it.
step back, as you said, step back, look again at it. Step back, quietly step back, look at them. Go.
Well, it's the time that you get.
This is another attempt by the ego to hijack my mind, and it's using this particular situation or person to do it. But I'm alert to that. I'm vigilant to that scheme of the ego. I know now with this kind of mind training, I know what it's trying to do. It's a hijack attempt on my mind. That's what it's trying to do. Using this particular trigger. And it'll use, if that trigger doesn't work, it'll try another one and another one. It's got multiple different versions of triggers. That's what's invented the world. And if one of them works, it goes, oh, that one worked. Okay, we'll try that one again. And again, and again. Okay, until you learn the lesson. You keep getting triggered until you let it go. Then you're saying, okay, I'm undoing that trigger. It can no longer get to me that way. And then it'll try something else. And your ego is going to go, well, this is just impossible. It's just endless. The Holy Spirit says, no, this is good, because for every trigger that you let go of, and then you reveal another one, it's another part of the ego that's being undone. You just undone another part of it. And so you're following your process of awakening. There's actually no risk in that. You just keep going with the process, keep doing what you need to do, and it's guaranteed you'll awaken, because eventually you'll let go of everything that triggers you. There'll be nothing remaining that can trigger you. And then you stay in the peace of God. It surpasses all understanding. And then you never get triggered by anyone or anything. Okay. So how are we doing? It's 5 minutes. Do you have 10 minutes to do a meditation? 15 minutes to do a
Yeah,
meditation?
can do. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
that's good.
let's do a med on this to close the session then.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a meditation on today's lesson, 254. Very short workbook lesson, part of part 2. So just prepare yourself by making yourself comfortable, sitting feet shoulder width apart, your back straight, you cup your hands in your lap, close your eyes, and start off with a nice deep breath in through the nose. You're breathing in. You're noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises and the subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Blowing the stomach up like a balloon. Clench the sphincter muscle to lock the energy in. Pull the energy up the spine into your heart center, to the crown of your head, pausing at the top of the inhale. Smile. Just go in mind. So just observe any thoughts and any emotions. Observe the voice in your head. What's going on there? Is there some chatter going on? Is it fairly quiet and equanimous? There's a voice that's chattering away, that's telling you anything other than perfect peace and love and joy, then notice that. Remind yourself that I hear only perfect love's voice today. So you're choosing right now to let go of the other voice, the insane voice of the ego, belief in separation, and hear only perfect love's voice today. So only this perfect loving awareness. I'm aware only of perfect loving awareness, what this is saying. Only perfect loving awareness. Exhale on the truth of that and just blow out any of these other thoughts and emotions like a dark cloud or a black smoke, leaving you going out of your mouth, out of your body, out of your energy system. It's going, gone. Pull the lower stomach into the spine, expel the last remaining air out. And you just rest in this awareness. So listen to this prayer. As you breathe in again, say, my source. Today, I want to hear only your voice. Talking to the deepest part of your mind, your true awareness. You want to hear only this voice of this awareness, the remembrance of this awareness we call the Holy Spirit. So the voice is referring to. In deepest silence, I would come to you. to hear your voice and receive your message. So breathing in, just entering deeper and deeper into the silence, stillness. And in this silence and stillness, you'll hear the voice, not necessarily in words. It's just to receive your word in the original. So translate that as receive your message. That message might just be a feeling of perfect peace, of tranquil acceptance. Maybe there's some joy even. So just go into these feelings as you breathe them into every pore and every cell. Every muscle of your body, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being. I have no prayer but this. Come to you to ask you for the truth. Breathing in again, and truth is only in your awareness. Truth is only in your awareness, which I choose to share with you today. Truth is only in your awareness, which I choose to share with you today. Always exhale out and have a sense of just letting go of any of these other thoughts, these other voices. Say, today I let no thoughts of separation, no ego thoughts direct my words or actions. And again, when such thoughts occur, today I let no thoughts of separation direct my words or actions. Breathing in again. And so when such thoughts occur, quietly detach from them, perceive them equanimously, and then let them go. So do that now as you breathe in. And do not want what they would bring with them. Instead, breathe in peace, breathe in happiness. So I do not choose to keep them. I do not want any of these thoughts or what they would bring with them. I don't want guilt and sin and fear, hatred and attack in all of its forms. So I choose not to keep them. So breathe in the light of truth, the light of your true awareness to every pore, every cell, every muscle of your body, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being. So I do not choose to keep these crazy thoughts, these false emotions, false thoughts. They are silent now, so I can let them go. As you exhale, have a sense of releasing them, letting them go. And the stillness, hallowed by its love, pure form of awareness of perfect love, speaks to me. Pure form of awareness of love, perfect love, speaks to me and tells me what my awareness is because I've chosen to remember its awareness. tells me what my awareness is because I've chosen to remember its awareness. So exhale on the truth of that and just sink into this awareness for a few minutes. There's nowhere else to go. There's nothing else to do. Just sink into the stillness of pure formless awareness, perfect love. Just God. It's just an awareness. Very still, very calm, very quiet. No ego thoughts, no reactive thoughts, no emotions. Just a calm, peaceful awareness and stillness. And sinking inwards, going deeper and deeper with each breath into this lovely, still, calm, surrendered state. There's nowhere else to go, nothing else to do. Just breathe, relax, be still, and surrender. In the stillness and the silence, enter more deeply into that with each breath. Watch the breath. While you do that, keep your mind in a still, calm, quiet, hallowed state, as hallowed by its love, the text says. In the stillness, hallowed by its love, pure formless awareness of perfect love speaks to me and tells me what my awareness is, because I have chosen to remember its awareness. So just enter into this awareness. Let it be in your awareness. There's nothing you need to do, nowhere else you need to go. Any thoughts come up, still chattering away, just remind yourself that you let no thoughts, you choose to let no thoughts, separation, direct my words or actions. When such thoughts occur, you quietly detach from them. So just observe them, see them equanimously, and then let them go. Just imagine they're like just little dancing puppets of something, and they come, and they prance away, and you just observe them. You're just the witness of them. And if you don't energize them, you don't give them importance and meaning, they just fade away. And then you just let them go. Just find this equanimous, still, calm, peaceful state for a couple of minutes of silence. There's nothing to do, nowhere else to go, just rest in this really peaceful, blissful state of being and experience the benefits of letting go. The next 2 minutes of deep silence. Let go of any drifting thoughts. Observe them quietly, detach from them, step back, look at them, and then let them go. Use your breath to help you do that. And rest in this equanimous, beautifully peaceful state for another minute or so of deep silence. So just gently coming back now from this deep state of awareness, bring your mind back into an awareness of your body and the breath and the senses and the world. And on the count of 3, you're going to open your eyes. So 1, just breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises. Subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. And you pause at the top of the inhale. You scan your mind, smile, scan your mind, and just notice thoughts, emotions, related body sensations, and quietly detach from all these thoughts. Receive them equanimously, then let them go. So I do not want what they would bring with them, so I choose not to keep them. They are silent now. Exhale. You blow them out, imagining like a dark cloud or black smoke leaving you, going, gone. With the breath, blow it out. And in the stillness, now, in the pause between breaths, hallowed by its love, pure formless awareness of perfect love speaks to me and tells me what my awareness is, because I've chosen to remember its awareness. So just let me become aware of this awareness for a few moments, connect with it, anchor the state in. You want to stay anchored in the state no matter what seems to happen in this world. This awareness is always there. It's fundamental to your being. So breathing in again on the count of 2, noticing the air flowing into your nostrils. Maybe there's a subtle smell in your nose as you do that, a taste in your mouth. Notice that. Notice what you're hearing in the surrounding environment, noticing what you're feeling and touching. Maybe there's a subtle taste in your mouth, a smell in your nose. And just what all senses are telling you, but in a very equanimous way. So you return to the world, but the underlying state of peace, which is equanimity, is still there, even though your sense perceptions are now still going on. This underlying state of peace hasn't gone anywhere. It's still there. That's how you stay in this peace. You stay equanimous, irrespective of what's happening in the world and what your senses are telling you. So just set the intention to do that. You can help yourself to do that by practicing the lesson. Remind yourself frequently that I hear only perfect love's voice today, especially when you get tempted to hear another voice. It's a great correction for that, the other thoughts. I hear only perfect love's voice today, and you can read the lesson to help you further, or listen to the short breath break. There's a 3-minute breath break, which you can practice every hour to practice the lesson and keep you really tapped in the flow of life, and in this equanimous, peaceful state, which the lesson is suggesting is what you should seek to maintain. So now on the count of 3, open your eyes. Just take a minute to look around, observing various objects in the room. Focus on any object particularly for a few seconds. Notice it. Notice the equanimously the underlying state of awareness. And then look around, look at something else. Notice that underlying awareness. And again, it's something else. Notice that awareness. I'm just noticing all these things on this very still, calm, and surrendered state. Close your eyes. Notice it's equanimous peace. Still there. Open your eyes. Notice that it's still there, irrespective of whatever you look at, whatever you're seeing, whatever you're hearing, touching, tasting, feeling, smelling. None of those things really can disturb this equanimity. And this is your true awareness. This is the awareness that exists before time, that still exists and will exist after time is done. That is the truth of who you really are. And your only job is to stay in that awareness, no matter what illusions, temporary forms, experiences in this world seem to come into your sense perceptions. Just stay rooted in this awareness and use the lesson to help you do that. So, wishing good practice with that and a very equanimous, peaceful rest of your afternoon and evening. I think that brings us to the end of the meditation and of today's session. So thank you, Elaine.
Yep, thank you. Yeah, very good.
Yeah, very good. Very good.
Yay.
Yay. Yeah, thanks for joining. And
Yep.
see you I think actually, can we skip tomorrow?
Yeah,
'Cause
yes, of course.
I've got to
And
coach
I
some
just,
football and I'm gonna have dinner.
yeah,
So Thursday afternoon we could do. So does that
yeah,
work for you?
yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. Same sort of time.
Yeah, 2 o'clock. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Perfect.
Okay, doke.
Okay.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you. Bye.
Namaste.
Namaste. Bye.
Wow. Okay, so thank you to Elaine for joining and making the session more than a monologue. If you enjoyed the session, there's a couple of things you can do to take it further. First of all, subscribe to the channel. If you haven't already done that, you'll be notified whenever I go live, which is 3 or 4 times a week. And you'll be able to watch the live stream on YouTube or watch the recordings. You can also go to lifebuild.com. You can see that in the background of the video if you're watching the video, and sign up there to join my Telegram group, which will give you access to a daily inspirational quote, some comments on that, kind of a blog post, the daily lesson from A Course in Miracles in its original and alternative form. It's also a section of the text, also in its original and an alternative language form, which will help you to understand the text more easily, as well as notifications about the daily live calls, like these live sessions. So you'll be given the times when you can join and also a link, a Zoom link to join us. So all freely available at lifebuild.com. Check it out, subscribe, and I hope to connect with you on the inside of the group and on one of these sessions soon. Thanks for watching and listening, and namaste, which means the truth in me acknowledges and honors that same truth in you. I'm wishing you much love, peace, and joy in